What is up, everybody? We are on day 52 of our Bible in a Year series. Finishing up Numbers today. It's going to be bittersweet. We're done with Numbers, but we get to move on to Deuteronomy. And this is the thing: as we finish these books, we get to move on to something else. And next year we'll be back in the same one. So it is bittersweet, as I said. Exciting stuff, though. We get to see kind of the beginnings of the Promised Land borders taking form, and kind of some of that divvying up and things along those lines. So getting to see the beginning of this promise seemingly being brought about by God. And with that said, we'll jump straight in. Numbers 34. The Lord spoke to Moses, command the Israelites, and say to them, when you enter the land of Canaan, it will be allotted to you as an inheritance with these borders. Your southern side will be from the wilderness of Zin along the boundary of Edom. Your southern border will be on the east. Your southern border on the east will begin at the east end of the Dead Sea. Your border will turn south to the Scorpion's Ascent, proceed to Zin, and end south of Kadesh Barnea. It will go to Hazar Adar and proceed to Asman. The border will turn it from Asman to the brook of Egypt, where it will end at the Mediterranean Sea. Your western border will be the coastline of the Mediterranean Sea. This will be your western border. This will be your northern border. From the Mediterranean Sea, draw a line to Mount Hor. From Mount Hor, draw a line to the entrance of Hamath, and the border will reach Zedad. Then the border will go to Ziphron and end at Hazar Enan. This will be your northern border. For the eastern border, draw a line from Hazar Enan to Shepham. The border will go down from Shepham to Riblah east of Ain. It will continue down and reach the eastern slope of the Sea of Chinnereth. Then the border will go down to the Jordan and end at the Dead Sea. This will be your land defined by its borders on all sides. So Moses commanded the Israelites, this is the land you are to receive by lot as an inheritance, which the Lord commanded to be given to the 9.5 tribes. For the tribes of Reuben's descendants and the tribe of Gad's descendants have received their inheritance according to their ancestral families. And half the tribe of Manasseh has received its inheritance. The 2.5 tribes have received their inheritance across the Jordan east of Jericho toward the sunrise. The Lord spoke to Moses, these are the names of the men who are to distribute the land as an inheritance for you. The priest Eleazar and Joshua, son of Nun, take one leader from each tribe to distribute the land. These are the names of the men. Caleb, son of Jephunneh, from the tribe of Judah. You'll remember, Caleb is one of the spies, along with Joshua. Caleb is one of the spies that did not try to back away from God's promise. And so because of that, him and Joshua were the only two over the age of 20 that were going to be allowed to see or go into the promised land. Shemuel, son of Immihud, from the tribe of Simeon's descendants. Elidad, son of Chislon, from the tribe of Benjamin. Bucky, son of Jogel, a leader from the tribe of Dan's descendants. From the sons of Joseph, Haniel, son of Ephod, leader of the tribe of Manasseh's descendants. Kemuel, son of Shiptan, I don't know, a leader from the tribe of Ephraim's descendants. Eli Zaphon, son of Parnak, a leader from the tribe of Zebulun's descendants. Paltiel, son of Zan, a leader from the tribe of Issachar's descendants. Anihud, son of Shalomi, a leader from the tribe of Asher's descendants. Pedihal, son of Amminhud, a leader from the tribe of Naphtali's descendants. These are the ones the Lord commanded to distribute the inheritance to the Israelites in the land of Canaan. Chapter 35. The Lord spoke again to Moses in the plains of Moab, by the Jordan across from Jericho. Command the Israelites to give cities out of their hereditary property for the Levites to live in and pasture land around the cities. The cities will be for them to live in, and their pasture lands will be for their herds, flocks, and all other animals. The pasture lands of the city you are to give to the Levites will extend from the city wall 500 yards on every side, measure 1,000 yards outside the city for the east side, 1,000 yards for the south side, 1,000 yards for the west side, and 1,000 yards for the north side. With the city in the center, this will belong to them as pasture lands for the cities. The cities you give to the Levites will include 6 cities of refuge, which you will provide so that the one who kills someone may flee there. In addition to these, give 42 other cities. The total number of cities you give the Levites will be 48, along with their pasture lands. Of the cities that you give the Israelites territory, you should take more from a larger tribe and less from a smaller one. Each tribe is to give some of its cities to the Levites in proportion to their inheritance it receives. So it talks about the city of refuge, which we're going to get into, but this is kind of an interesting idea. So if someone was fleeing, right, and they got to the city, they were basically safe. Um, terrible analogy. Um, it's kind of like you're playing tag and they get to the safe zone or whatever. Um, I know it's very theologically deep playing tag. Um, anyways, verse 9. The Lord said to Moses, "Speak to the Israelites and tell them when you cross the Jordan into the land of Canaan, designate cities to serve as cities of refuge for you so that a person who kills someone unintentionally may flee there. You will have the city as a refuge for the avenger, so that the one who kills someone will not die until he stands trial before the assembly. The cities you select, um, the cities you select will be your 6 cities of refuge. Select 3 cities across the Jordan and 3 cities in the land of Canaan to be cities of refuge. These 6 cities will serve as a refuge for the Israelites and for the alien and temporary resident among you, so that anyone who kills a person unintentionally may flee there. If anyone strikes a person with an iron object and death results, he is a murderer. The murderer must be put to death. If anyone has in his hand a stone capable of causing death and strikes another person and he dies, the murderer must be put to death. If anyone has in his hand a wooden object capable of causing death and strikes another person and he dies, the murderer must be put to death. The avenger of blood himself is to kill the murderer when he finds him. He is to kill him. Likewise, if anyone in hatred pushes a person or throws an object at him with malicious intent and he dies, or if in hostility he strikes him with his hand and he dies, the one who strikes him must be put to death. He is murderer. The avenger of blood is to kill the murderer when he finds him. But if anyone suddenly pushes a person without hostility or throws any object at him without malicious intent, or without looking drops a stone that could kill a person and he dies, but he was not his enemy and didn't intend to harm him, the assembly is the judge between the person who kills someone and the avenger of the blood according to these ordinances. The assembly is to protect the one who kills someone from the avenger of blood. Then the assembly will return him to the city of refuge he fled to, and he must live there until the death of the high priest who was anointed with the holy oil. If the one who kills someone ever goes outside the border of the city of refuge he fled to, and the avenger of blood finds him outside the border of his city of refuge and kills him, the avenger will not be guilty of bloodshed. For the one who killed a person was supposed to live in the city of refuge until the death of the high priest. Only after the death of the high priest may the one who has killed a person return to the land he possesses. These instructions will be a stationary ordinance for you throughout your generations. Wherever you live, if anyone kills a person, the murderer is to be put to death based on the word of the witnesses, but no one is to be put to death based on the testimony of one witness. You are not to accept a ransom for the life of someone who is guilty of murder. He must be put to death. Neither should you accept a ransom for a person who flees to his city of refuge, allowing him to return and live in the land before the death of the high priest. Do not defile the land where you live, for bloodshed defiles land, and there can be no atonement for the land because of the blood that is shed on it, except by the blood of the person who shed it. Do not make the land unclean where you live and where I dwell, for I, the Lord, reside among the Israelites. 36. Final chapter of Numbers. And this, so this will tie back to, we talked about, I think it was 3 days ago, Zelophehad's daughters. If you remember, it stuck out because they're going over like who gets what land and stuff, and then it's talking about all these the sons of people, and then it said this guy's daughters because he died. So we're gonna see the conclusion here. The family heads from the clan of the descendants of Gilead, the son of Machir, son of Manasseh, who were the clans of the sons of Joseph, approached and addressed Moses and the leaders who were heads of the Israelite families. They said, "The Lord commanded my Lord to give the land as an inheritance by the lot of the Israelites. My Lord was further commanded by the Lord to give our brother Zelophehad's inheritance to his daughters. If they marry any of the men from other Israelite tribes, their inheritance will be taken away from our father's inheritance and added to that of the tribe into which they marry. Therefore, part of our allotted inheritance will be taken away. When the Jubilee comes for the Israelites, their inheritance will be added to that of the tribe into which they marry, and their inheritance will be taken away from the inheritance of our ancestral tribe." So Moses commanded the Israelites at the word of the Lord, "What the tribe of Joseph's descendants says is right. This is what the Lord has commanded. Concerning Zelophehad's daughters, they may marry anyone they like, provided they marry within a clan of their ancestral tribe. No inheritance belonging to the Israelites is transferred from tribe to tribe, because each of the Israelites is to retain the inheritance of his ancestral tribe. And a daughter who possesses an inheritance from an Israelite tribe must marry someone from the clan of her ancestral tribe, so that each of the Israelites will possess the inheritance of his fathers. No inheritance is to transfer from one tribe to another, because each of the Israelites' tribes is to retain its inheritance. The daughters of Zelophehad did as the Lord commanded Moses. Mania, Tirzah, Hoglah, Milcah, and Noah, the daughters of Zelophehad, married cousins on their father's side. They married men from the clans of the descendants of Manasseh, son of Joseph, and their inheritance remained within the tribe of their father's clan. These are the commands and ordinances of the Lord commanded the Israelites through Moses into the plains of Moab by the Jordan across from Jericho." And Numbers is in the books, specifically in the Bible. So, I know you came for the Bible, but you stayed for the comedy. Um, we'll go straight to the questions after that. Question 1. What does the allocation of land among the tribes teach us about God's provision and importance of community in our faith? I've said this before. God only provides for his plan, and God always provides for his plan. So God's plan was for Israel to be there, and specifically, we'll see a little bit later, kind of maybe some, or not maybe, definitely some intentionality as to what clan was where. But yeah, I do think it shows God's provision, making sure that they're taken care of, because they're following what He wants them to do, and they're following where He wants them to be, at least for now. Question 2. How do the cities of the refuge reflect God's heart for justice and mercy? And what can we learn from this in our interactions with others? So notice the city of refuge were for people who unintentionally killed, right? It said if you killed and there was an intention behind it, you were to be put to death. I think the purpose of the city of refuge is to show mercy and grace and allow people kind of a second chance, if you will. Question 3. In what ways can we ensure that we are advocates for justice and safety in our own communities following these examples set in these chapters? Um, as Christians, I think we should want justice. I think we should advocate for justice. And that doesn't always look the way that we think it does or the way we think it should. Um, I actually had a reel take off a little bit on Instagram recently. There's a lot of people commenting. Really, they were not very happy with the reel. But the main point was the organization Black Lives Matter. I basically said, like, yes, they do. So do white lives and Irish lives and Mexican lives, and listed all these different. And the point is, it's kind of as an organization, Black Lives Matter is a joke. Um, does not do anything to help any Black lives except for the people that are at the top of the organization. Also, and I'm not going to get super political here. I actually am pretty well versed when it comes to politics and societal stuff, economics, socioeconomics, all kinds of different things. A lot of statistics and things like that as well. The idea that there's this large swath of population that thought Black lives didn't matter, so it was necessary to say it, is farcical. Like, just no. Now, there are a lot of people that went along with a lot of stuff that was happening because they thought that it was genuine. They thought it was real. And I think people like that, you should look more into it and see what's actually going on behind the scenes before you jump into supporting something like that. But I'm not blaming them for something they didn't necessarily know. But when it comes to real justice, yes, Christians should definitely be in favor of that. Christians should be trying to get justice in every situation that they can. That's Christian nature. I also think that we see an example here of grace and mercy and allowing people to have another chance, right? So I think that's something that we can take from that as well. If you're still watching, appreciate it. Listening up to this point. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment. I like hearing from people, so comment, send a message, whichever you would like to do. And tomorrow we'll be starting on Deuteronomy. So Numbers is kaput for this year. Anyways, Numbers is over, and Deuteronomy tomorrow. Looking forward to it. Don't forget to tune in, subscribe, hit the notification bell. God bless.